Welcome to my parlor. Welcome, traveler, to the Hidden Corner Finds. I am Joanne, and this is my humble store. Pull up a chair, stay a while, make yourself at home. What? Oh, you want to know what I'm selling? Everything and anything. In short, I have a passion for. Why did it just bleep me? All I said was, I have a passion for picking, I said. Yeesh. You can't say anything on YouTube these days without this censorship. Anyways, as I was saying, I have a passion for picking. For me, there is nothing more satisfying than finding a unique and forgotten item and uniting it with someone who will really appreciate it for years to come. Whether it's a soapstone carving, an old book, or simply a mug to make you laugh, I try and find something for everyone. My goal is to make you a confident buyer. Older items often have a lifetime of stories to tell. I strive to describe the good as well as the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. It's important that the pictures reflect what you will receive. To that end, I always encourage questions and will do my best to respond as quick as possible. Appreciate you stopping by the store. If you can't find what you're looking for, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always looking for new ideas and will keep an eye out for your item in my travels.
Hey, welcome. Tap into my action figure collection.
Whoops, gotta go. Bye.
And welcome back to our Toy Thursday episode on March 15th. March 14th, sorry. March 14th, getting ahead of myself. 2024. Um, for those of you who were able to make it to come see me at the Britannia Library for the Twisted Poets event yesterday, thank you for being there. I really appreciated all the support. It was awesome. Some great poetry being read, although listening to 2 hours of poetry was a little bit much. Just for me. I think for some people it's great, but for me that's a bit much. For me, poetry has always been the kind of thing that's best done in small doses, kind of like kind of like jokes, right? I mean, some comedy shows can last 2 hours, but I think a lot of time, 1 hour is about my pace. After an hour, things don't really seem that funny anymore. Um, Poetry is kind of the same thing. Anyway, I'm rambling on and on. So the last two episodes, we had those super gigantic uh, episode where I showed like 10 plus figures in one episode and end up having to do it in 2 or 3 videos. Now that we are going back to our regularly scheduled program, hopefully things will be a little bit more manageable where we try to just look at one figure at a time. And today is a very simple one because today's figure, first, he doesn't really have a lot of story to him. And second, it doesn't really have a lot of articulation. Uh, and also because I have not watched the movie, so I don't really know that much about this character. But I want to show this character regardless because uh, this year is the Chinese Year of the Dragon. So I believe that it makes sense for us to start off the year, start off our Toy Thursday with some dragon action figures. Actually, I've been looking forward to this all year last year. I didn't have a lot to show for Rabbit, but I think I got some really cool dragons I can show throughout this year. So today we are going to look at the newest dragon that's been added to my collection. Not this dragon lamp, although it is a good placeholder, good substitute. No, I'm not talking about this dragon lamp. I'm talking about actual action figure dragon. Although in this case, the word action is a bit debatable. Let me introduce you to someone you guys already met in about 2 weeks ago. The action figure of Storm, the Seadragon, made by McFarlane Toys. Storm came from the latest Aquaman DC superhero movie called Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, I believe. I have not watched it. I fully intend to, but just haven't gotten around to it. Aquaman has never really been like my really big favorite in superheroes, uh, and so I don't really know Storm's role in the movie. I can tell you that going by the bio on the back of the box, Storm is an albino sea dragon that after being rescued by Aquaman, he decided to follow Aquaman and let him ride him into battle bravely. So he's basically Aquaman's animal companion and steed. And in the on the box, it says Storm is a sea dragon. In the comic book, it usually just kind of portrays Storm as a giant seahorse. So I like Sea Dragon better. It's kind of cool, although he still kind of looks like a seahorse. um, you can see that. Well, maybe you can, maybe you can. Uh, I already got Storm mounted on the stand. It comes with a circular display stand like this. Oh, he's heavy. He's really heavy. I think this thing weighs maybe like 5 pounds. This is a heavy figure, heavy chunk of rubber and plastic. So there's a circular display stand, and then there's a steel rod that you insert into the stand, and then the other end of the rod you impale into ouch you impale into the underbelly of Storm, and that the rod will hold him up like so you can get him in a swimming pose, and the part that's connected to his belly, there's even a bit of a ball joint so you can kind of turn him, like have him this way, so he's like swimming upward, or you can tilt him. But be careful, if you tilt him too much, the rod is going to pop free, and you'll have to get it back in there again. Um, Now, I want to take this chance to just in case any of you watching this get this figure and you get really frustrated with it, because I actually was reading Amazon reviews, and one guy said he uh, he cracked the base on his figure. He broke the base on the bottom trying to get the rod into the figure. And another customer said that he warmed up the tip of the rod because he couldn't get the tip to go into the dragon. So he warmed up the tip, and then the whole tip came off. Okay, these are things that's going to happen if you. Okay, why would you break the base? When you are trying to insert the rod, don't put it into the base and then trying to hammer the dragon onto it, right? The rod is okay, the rod is steel, but remember the base is plastic. If you hammer at it, this plastic is going to break. It's not going to take that much force, right? Ouch. And the tail just detached. Hold on, that was unintended blooper moment on camera. I wish that the tail would attach a little bit more secure. Actually, that's the one problem that's kind of a how you would say recurring issue with this guy. It's a tail sometimes will come off. When you get this figure in the box, it comes in like this. The stand and the rod is separate. The tail is separate. So plugging the stand in and the rod in is a pain in the butt. But plugging the tail in, it's easy. You just line it up and then shove it into the back of the torso, and that's it, right? It's very simple. So back to the rod. Before I was so rudely interrupted by that tail, don't try to hammer that dragon onto the rod, or hammer the plastic base. You'll break the base, right? If you need to do any kind of hammering, take the base off of the rod, and then uh, try to turn your dragon upside down, and then try to get the rod in that way. But there's a lot easier way to get that rod in there. Okay, use a hair dryer, use hot water. You need to heat up the dragon. And let me repeat that. You heat up the dragon, you don't heat up the rod. If you heat up the rod, that joint tip is going to come off. What you need to do is aim a heat gun or aim a hair dryer at the hole that the rod's supposed to go in. And you just keep that there for about, well, depending on your hair dryer, but I kept it there for about 15, 20 seconds. That's it. And that will soften up the dragon enough for you to insert the rod in very easily. And then once it's cooled down, then the rod is now very tight, very firm in there. And uh, the dragon, it's even though the dragon is so heavy, this can support the dragon's weight, no problem. Now, this is not a very articulated dragon. Uh, it has some articulation, like the head can kind of turn, tilt side to side, and kind of bobble up and down, like it's nodding its head. There's nothing here in the bottom of the neck. I think this is kind of silly. This is one of those places that really could use articulation at the bottom of the neck. Um, Moving the camera a little bit. Let me see. The these fins on the side of the dragon's body. I don't know. Are these lateral fin? I guess so. They're not pectoral. Uh, these are on ball joints, but be careful with them. If you get too rough, they'll pop out. They can swivel up and down like this, so you can achieve kind of a different poses with them. Uh, and they can kind of spread out or go like close to the body, like that. You can tuck them in nice and close to the body. That kind of gives it a more streamlined look. I like them spread out like this, so that when it that gives it a more intimidating profile. And then of course, where the tail attach, you can swivel this tail, swivel left, right. Unfortunately, the tail is stuck in this coiled up position, so you can't actually uncoil it. I wish you could. Like this is one of those times where I was, wow, this would be so amazing. Like this figure would look so big. Well, bigger if you could uncoil the tail, because the tail is, you know, look like it would add another foot to the dragon. Uh, Now, it is not by any means a small figure. Like I said, it's really hefty. Don't throw this at anybody, you'll hurt someone. This thing is really spiky, and if you hit someone with this, considering how heavy this is, it's going to hurt them really bad. Um, Standing, well, mounted on the base, the way it is about 14, 15 inches tall. And from the snout to the furthest point of the tail in the back. This is about 13 to 14 inches long. So yeah, by no means a small figure, but I am just saying that if you can uncoil the tail, it would look even bigger. It would be super super cool. Um, the figure is painted beautifully. This is where I envy you, sighted folks, because I have been reading up on this figure, and everybody said this thing is painted gorgeously. It has a teal and purple paint job, and in the where the skinnier, more delicate part, like the fin, uh, it's kind of got these blue and white. Uh, Fading effect to make them look more delicate. Uh, I have heard that this figure look a lot like the kind of color of coral and seashells. So that's really really cool. The texture of this dragon is quite amazing too. Like when you feel the texture, it definitely have that again a coral seashell kind of a texture to it. And this dragon, because it's have to let Aquaman ride him. Uh, is domesticated, and you can tell that it's domesticated because it got a gold uh, mask, bridle thing on its face, and it got a gold saddle and gold armor around part of its body. So it's not just any wild sea dragon. This sea dragon is outfitted to be ridden by a warrior. And yeah, it would have to be outfitted like this. Like, just look at the spikes on this thing. Would you really want to ride that without a saddle? Probably not. I mean, earlier when I was taking photos of this guy for the short video for the shorts I put up earlier, I was thinking, you can actually mount two figures on this dragon. You can have one in the saddle and you can have one character in the back, like behind the first one. But then I was running my finger over all these ridges on the dragon's back, and I was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think you would want anyone. I don't think anyone would want to ride back there without a saddle. That would be like a torture and certain death kind of thing. It would be horrible. It would be horrible. So like I said, not a lot to say about this figure. It has like 4 points of articulation. Uh, and it's big, it's cool looking, it's gorgeous, and there's not much story to it. And honestly, you don't need much story for something like this. This is going to look so cool on your desk or on your shelf, and almost look like an art piece. Actually, I am almost thinking that. Well, actually, not almost. I'm certain somewhere down the line, I'm going to do a piece of Tiger Tactile inspired by this design, and it's going to be super, super cool. Before we go, we have to bring some figures in for size comparison, and I want to show you guys what it looks like being ridden. I don't have the Aquaman from the movie. On my display, this guy is going to be ridden by Merman from Masters of the Universe for now. Once I get my Greek myth god Poseidon, then this will be Poseidon's personal steed. Here we have Merman standing right beside Storm, Sea Dragon, with a ruler of the deep. Not quite Aquaman, but similar idea. Let me bring the camera down a little bit, so hopefully you guys can see it better. Um, it's ridiculous. Like when you have Storm in your hand, you kind of get the idea that yeah, he's huge, but you don't really know how big. Sorry about the jostling the camera. I'm trying to position this. Um, you don't really realize how big this is until you stand another figure beside it. And I mean, Merman here is not a small dude. This guy is, well, let's just say he's a hell of a lot bigger than that Captain America that we use all the time. Uh, this guy is probably, I don't know, 7 inches tall, maybe just about. So again, let me hold him next to Storm's head. You can we can tell that Storm's head and neck alone is bigger than this entire figure of Merman, right? So this is one big action figure. The coolest part is when you buy this dragon, sea dragon, when you buy this sea dragon brand new, Usually it's like 33 US dollar, and even for that, that's pretty cheap for something this hefty and this well made, this well painted. Um, it's like buying a statue for 33 bucks. But a lot of time, you can actually find this guy on sale. When I got him right before Christmas, this was, I believe, discounted down to like 22 bucks. 22 bucks for this dragon. Yeah, I wish I I wish I got another one. Well, okay, now no I don't because you know it takes up a lot of room on the shelf. But yeah, that you can usually find him really cheap. For those of you that go to Walmart and Target in person in the U.S., it wouldn't surprise me that you might be able to find him discounted down to like 12 bucks sometime. Okay. Now let's get Merman mounted up, and we'll see how it looks to have an action figure riding this guy. Here we have Merman mounted on Storm and leading his underwater minions. We got on the left, I hope you guys can see it. I don't know how wide the view is, but if you guys can see low enough, we got Merman, not Merman, who is that guy? Goldfish. That's a from Power Ranger. That's Goldfish from Power Ranger on the left. In the center, right beneath Merman's dangling foot, there is Zodiac Cancer from the Warriors of the Zodiac by McFarlane back in the 90s. That's a really cool figure. Um, and then to the right, we have Clawful from Masters of the Universe Classic. Now, I'm not sure if Clawful is supposed to be like water or aquatic related, but he kind of looks like a lobster or a crab to me, so that's why I throw him in there. So anyway, we have a little improvised improvised army for our merman riding forth to battle on his giant sea dragon. Ooh, the camera almost fell off the counter. Um, I need a bigger space for doing this, especially when it's a large figure like this. Anyway, that's it, folks. Thank you for being with me today and looking at this sea dragon for the Chinese Year of the Dragon. Hoping upon you guys all the prosperity and success the Year of the Dragon will bring you. We'll be back again tomorrow for the Fitness Friday. Yeah, you're wondering what happened to Tactical Tuesday and Wisdom Wednesday? Well, I got so busy with the Twisted Poets event and finishing a piece of artwork for the last minute, I totally didn't have time to do videos for Tuesday and Wednesday. But it's okay. There's over 1,000, over 1,500 videos on this channel, so you can entertain yourself with those. Uh, Again, thank you for being here, and I'll be back again tomorrow for Fitness Friday.